Let's talk about sustainable funding, the key to supporting our students. Over the past few months, many of my conversations with parents, teachers, and administrators have centered around a critical issue: lack of funding. Programs are being downsized or cut, schools are overcrowded, and resources and materials are stretched thin. These are serious concerns for our district. So what's happening? Where is the funding going? Metro jurisdictions educate 49.5% of Alberta students, yet receive only 46.8% of the operational funding provincially. That 2.7% gap translates to over $200 million in missing funding. Alberta's funding for education hasn't kept pace with the rest of Canada. In fact, Alberta has the lowest provincial per student spending in the country. According to the Alberta Teachers Association, the Canadian average for per student funding is $13,332, while Alberta lags behind at just $11,601. If Alberta's metro districts were funded at the Canadian average, they would receive an additional $634 million in funding for the 2024-25 school year. Alberta uses a weighted moving average model to calculate per student funding. This model allocates funding based on 20% of actual enrollment from the previous year, 30% based on the current year's estimates, and 50% based on the projections for the upcoming year. While this benefits divisions with declining enrollment, often found in rural areas, it creates a funding shortfall for districts experiencing rapid growth. For the 2024-25 school year, an alarming 1,569 Calgary Catholic School District students will not be funded under this model. Enrollment in Alberta's classrooms is far outpacing projections. Many families with children who have diverse learning needs relocate to urban and metro areas to access necessary resources and supports. Yet, the urban and metro districts who are educating these students are not receiving adequate funding to meet their needs. The Supplemental Enrollment Growth Grant was introduced to address the weighted moving average shortfall, but fell significantly short. For 2024-25, the funding gap remains a staggering $92.2 million. While one-time grants are appreciated, they are not a sustainable solution. When the funds run out, the programs they support are suspended. I believe that CCSD needs reliable, sustainable funding to ensure these programs can continue and thrive over time. The Construction Accelerator Program, announced last September, addresses the need for new schools but ignores operational funding required to make them functional. It costs millions of dollars to furnish schools and hire teachers and staff and administrators. Additionally, these new schools won't be completed for years, leaving our current classrooms overcrowded. This critical funding is needed to provide adequate program supports and vibrant programming offerings to ensure the unique needs of every student the district serves. Stay tuned for my blog next week, where I'll talk about vibrant programming and why it matters. We urgently need a revamped funding model that addresses the immediate needs of our schools, not just promises for the future. As your trustee, I will continue to advocate for a fairer funding model that recognizes the growing needs of our district and works to close the gap between what is provided and what is truly needed. Sustainable funding is essential for the success and well-being of our students, and I am committed to fighting for it. I humbly ask for your support in the upcoming election. Please consider voting for me on January 31st or during advance voting on January 24th or 25th. To learn more, visit my website at www.laurafortrustee.com or send me a message. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening.